Hey everyone, and welcome to the Huddle. I am really excited about this episode. I recently talked to someone that I really admire and I look up to, Ken Chenault. Now, Ken, he was the CEO of American Express from 2001 to 2018. He led the company through 9/11, the '08 recession, and many other things. And Ken was just the third African American to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Ken now serves as the chairman and managing director of General Catalyst. He's the co-founder of OneTen, and OneTen's goal is to upskill, hire, and advance 1 million Black Americans over the next 10 years into family-sustaining jobs with opportunities for advancement. It was an honor to get to talk to Ken. I hope you'll enjoy our conversation. Ken, I'd love to talk about you just a bit. What led you to the post at American Express, and how you grew up and what you learned. It's quite a story that you've been able to put together, and I'd love for the team to know a bit about you.
So, John, my life has not been a straight line. So I grew up in Hempstead, Long Island, which is sort of the middle of the fish. And my father actually was a dentist. My mother was a dental hygienist. And I was a kid who loved sports. I played basketball through college and actually grew up with Julius Erving, the famous Dr. J.
Yeah.
We're still good friends to this day. But I think what defined me is I was very fortunate that I had two incredible parents who really focused on instilling core values that I live to this day. And also, very importantly, is I grew up at the height of the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. And growing up as an African American in the 50s and 60s, clearly my life changed dramatically. And one of the things that I would emphasize is there was a decision by the Supreme Court in 1954 called Brown v. Board of Education that basically outlawed separate schools and segregation. If not for that ruling, I would not have had an opportunity to be CEO of American Express. So I think what's very important is I grew up with a belief that everyone was entitled to an opportunity. And that really defines me.
Wow, fantastic. And the love of parents and just, what you just described, it for many people may have read about that court decision as just a lesson in school or something, but the gravity of what it actually meant to, and still means to millions of people, is extraordinary. There were schools here in Arkansas and Little Rock that were known for integration and all the struggles people went through that, at times not only were struggles, but became violent at times. And so many people have helped push this agenda forward and creating opportunity, which Ken leads to, I'm going to skip around a bit, but I'd love to talk about from where you started to the mission that you and Maurice now have put together with OneTen, which we're proud to be a part of, but the organization is just really exciting mission I'd love the team to hear about.
Well, let me first say that I'm really proud to have Walmart as part of OneTen, and Walmart has become a leader of companies within OneTen. And so let me just give a little bit of background of why OneTen was founded. Literally a day after the murder of George Floyd, Ken Frazier, who stepped down several months ago as CEO of Merck, who's also an African American, and someone that I've known since law school. Ken and I said, what is it that we could do? And one of the things that we thought of is there's nothing more important than having a family-sustaining job. Mm-hmm. The impact that has on the family, the impact it has on the community. And one of the things that we saw was that Black Americans without a 4-year college degree had real difficulty getting into family-sustaining jobs. The other thing that we found was that 80% of the jobs making over $60,000 a year required a 4-year college degree. Now, let me be very clear. I think anyone who wants to go to college should be able to go to college. However, I also believe that everyone does not need to go to college to have a family sustaining job. And the focus should be on skills first. Do you have the skills and the capabilities to perform the job? And absolutely, performance standards should be high, but there shouldn't be credentials that prevent people from going into a job that they're qualified for. So one of the things, John, that I'm most excited about, and in this country, sometimes we have this win-lose philosophy, is that here is an initiative that's geared to Black Americans. But the reality is we're changing the specifications of jobs from credentials alone to skills first, and that will benefit all Americans. All Americans will benefit. And I think what's important is you can help one group and you can benefit all groups.
What you and Maurice and others can put together, it's fantastic because we are a business, a culture with close to 1.5 million people here in the U.S., even more when you add Sam's Club in, and over 2 million around the world. And we are a true meritocracy. Absolutely. I meet people that are divisional managers that didn't go to college but are highly skilled, highly capable. And I meet people who are store managers who are degreed or not. And it's all about being able to perform the skills. I think you said something really well. Have high standards. We've always got to have high expectations of ourselves. One of the things I learned early at Walmart is your expectations should always be higher than your supervisors. Absolutely. And when your expectations start there, you've already started with a really good spot. Well, it's exciting work, and I love the idea of solve a problem for a group of people, but let it apply to the entire country. So fantastic mission. Speaking of missions, you know well what our purpose has been for a very long time, to save people money and live better. And we're trying to enable, and have been for years, this idea that providing access to products and services for everyone that's affordable in a way they couldn't get it before gives people the ability to live better. But over the last couple of years, we've introduced, Ken, a membership program. And a few of us have worked in membership businesses like Sam's Club or other places. But you ran a very large membership program, very large company that's based on membership. What advice would you tell me and my team? What should we be thinking about as we get into this transition?
So one is, I think it's absolutely very exciting what you're doing, John, because I think what's very important for brands and companies, the way I think about it, is that great brands are built by rational values and emotional values. And I say it's a cluster of values, rational and emotional. And a membership is, in my view, a tremendous opportunity for Walmart to recognize its customers and its behaviors. Mm-hmm. So what's very important is the meaning of membership for Walmart. And part of being a member, if you think about different organizations that you're involved with, is membership means that you're special. Not that you're better than anybody, but that we're going to treat you in a special way. We're going to reward you for your loyalty to us, because it's a two-way relationship. And that reciprocity is important. Third, I think is very critical, is how do you treat and service that member? Mm-hmm. Because what's essential is, and really, to me, exciting, is you offer a very rational value proposition. People can see it. Now, I think you've got a tremendous opportunity to in fact say, here are a few things that we can do because you're a member to help you lead your life better. And so I think that your mission, to me, aligns very well with membership. Mm-hmm. But I think what you've got to remember is treating those members in a special way, innovating constantly in ways that will surprise and delight your members and offer them a few benefits that they can depend on over the long term.
I think that's exactly right. And it's great advice, Ken, particularly with the experience you have in the field, the recognition, treatment, and then the treatment rewards, and then the service levels. As you think about managers across the company here, or managers that you have led in previous roles, current roles, Amex and others, what advice would you give them about the way they frame up their day, their week, their month, right, their role in an organization that's trying to make this transition?
Yeah, I think what's really important, and one of the things I've been very impressed with what Doug and you, John, have been able to do, is transformation is difficult. Mm-hmm. But you have an advantage when in fact you're an organization like Walmart that has core values. That's your compass. Mm-hmm. That doesn't change, those core values. That's your foundation. But what I think is very important at every level of Walmart is that you're very focused in understanding, what am I going to do to meet my customer needs? And I had sort of a simple mantra at American Express. We want to provide superior value. How do we define value? At all levels, in any function that you operate in, how do you define value? Second, do it in a way that allows us to achieve best-in-class economics. Why do we want to achieve best-in-class economics? Is not just from a shareholder standpoint, which is very important, but we want to be able to consistently reinvest in innovation and growth. And if we don't consistently achieve best-in-class economics, we're not going to be able to do that in an enduring way. And then third, everything we do must support and enhance the brand. That means I need to think about every day, what am I doing to fulfill the Walmart mission? And then what I need to do is put metrics and outcomes in place for my organization and on an individual basis. Because one of the things, John, that I believe strongly is no matter what your level is in an organization, leadership is a choice. No matter what level you're in, you can be a leader. It's not based on hierarchy alone. It is based on, do you have the willingness to do what it takes to win?
Ken, I love that. I frequently think about leaders are appointed, but the caveat to that is they may be appointed by the company. They may also be appointed by their peers and their team. And in so many situations, leaders just emerge.
John, you're absolutely right. I mean, the reality is true leadership is earned.
It is. It's respect. It's being a part of and being willing to serve. And we talk about leading as though the organization is an inverted pyramid. I'm on the bottom, the customers are on the top, our frontline associates, then we work all the way back. So working, altruistically on behalf of others is such an important role in organizations of these sizes, because it's not about any one of us. It's about what we do for all of us.
Absolutely. My mantra is, if you want to lead, you have to be willing to serve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they are hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So Ken, I've got just a couple more minutes with you, and I'm grateful. I could take all day, but I know you've got a lot of things to get onto. The role of the company from the outside looking in, the role Walmart can play in society, in communities broadly, and at the community level. How do you see it, and what do you think we could do to be even better as an organization than we are today?
It's a great question, John. It's my view. I start from the premise that the most important companies are the ones that want to endure. And if you want to endure, then you have to care about what happens in the broader society. And I believe companies exist because society allows us to exist. And I will just tell you, not because we're just talking, I've been impressed with the community engagement that I see from Walmart, because one of the things that's important is, what are you doing in the communities that you operate in? And I see Walmart in a range of areas being very involved in the community. I think that one of the things that a company can do, for example, is we believe that we should have a just society where everyone is entitled to opportunity. And one of the things that Walmart can do is create a community that embraces those principles. That can make a major difference in our society. So I think that the company of today has a responsibility to help the environment, has a responsibility to provide economic opportunity to people, to create an environment where all types of people feel welcomed and engaged. And so I think making a difference in our society first starts with making a difference at Walmart, the community of Walmart, really making a difference that it is an exemplar for how our society should operate. And then it is important to be involved in the communities that we operate in, and then on a national basis. And an example of a national program is OneTen,
right?
Where it's benefiting Walmart, but it's also benefiting the broader economy. And so I think what companies can strive for is a win-win. And it means that they can have an impact on society, and they can do it in ways that are also beneficial to their company and the people in their company.
Yeah, Ken, I really love that. When I went to school, if you wanted an A on the test and someone said, what's the role of a corporation? It was quite simple: create shareholder value, which is still true.
Yeah,
however, if you want to, as you said, if you want to endure and you want to last, you have to create value for society, create opportunity, take care of the environment. The mission is much more broad because we want to endure for 50 years or 100 years, not 5 years.
That's a really, I think, John, you've said it very simply, that what's important is sometimes people are not intentional enough. And I think what's critical is your words. You want Walmart to be around for the next 100 years. If that's the intention, what are the steps you're taking to create the culture, to create the business model that will endure? And I think that understanding what the role is of Walmart in the broader society is very important, because at the end of the day, what do you want? You want people to want Walmart to win. And if you're viewed as someone and a company that's helping people live better, particularly with your mission, you can't say, well, we're only going to help people live better who shop at Walmart alone. That's not going to work, because you want more customers.
Right. That's
and
right.
So it's both an altruistic objective, because the other thing is, for the people at Walmart, you want them to continue to be proud of Walmart. And they're going to be proud not only because of Walmart's financial performance, but also Walmart's role in the broader society.
Ken, I can't say thank you enough. Looking forward to seeing you in person. We almost did in January, and then Omicron separated us, but I really look forward to that time. Would love to host you here at some point or catch up with you somewhere in the country. But thanks so much.
I've been to Bentonville, as you know, several times. I'd love to come back. But let me just say to all of your colleagues that I'm very grateful, not only for the partnership that you had with American Express, but also the partnership that you have with OneTen. And I'm really excited about the future of Walmart because you're innovating consistently. So
all right. Thank you. We're excited too. Excited about OneTen. We'll make a difference. Have a great day.
Terrific, John.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.